Okay, so this is something I found funny.
Yes.
This is a library.
Now, how often do you see this picture? I've seen footage from this library all over the place, and it's one of those things you constantly see on like top 5 lists or whatever. It's like, look at this amazing library in China type thing.
Well, I thought the comments were really really good to figure out what's going on. But what I wanted to point out here is that if you, without the comments, how do you get a book out of here? You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, I want something from that top shelf up there.
I think they're supposed to have ladders and stuff there.
She's on a ladder, right? Is there a ladder that goes all the way up there? You're literally going to die if you fall off.
Sure.
It's not an efficient way to have a library. Now, the point that I wanted to make here is that I made a bit of a joke. I also screwed up and didn't put my comment in there, but I said it's a very stylish way to read Xi Jinping thought.
Yeah.
Because there's no books you can, if you are interested in an international topic, you're not going to find it in China. There's no books about that, right? Yeah. Everything is I shouldn't say everything of value is censored, but like most interesting stuff is censored or not available.
Yeah.
So you have this library, and it turns out this person wrote, I was just there. Everything above where she is standing is a sticker, and you can actually see that, the depth.
I mean, that's the thing. They're not even books. It's just wallpaper.
It's just wallpaper.
You know, so, and it's apparently just copied and pasted, so it's the same thing over and over again, which is something that we're used to. You know, when they do those tourist villages, you know, I just recently, my video, if you haven't seen it, spoke about, you know, you go to these minority areas and they, you know, do it up and they make it look kind of like what it used to look like, make everyone dress up in their traditional clothing and wander around. Remember when we went to Genuine and I pointed it out to you that time, like they have like wallpaper now. So instead of bricks, because it's too time consuming to build a building out of bricks, right?
Yeah.
So they just make a concrete building. Right. Because it's easy, you know, you just put up the wall, you just screed it up. Then they put wallpaper that looks like bricks on top. Right. Or sometimes they paint the bricks.
The painted bricks.
The painted, you know, so fake bricks. It's the same kind of idea here. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not talking about the Country Alliance bricks. Yeah. This is a police notice that someone getting arrested, and I just love this for the people that constantly think that they have some sort of freedom of speech in China. Yeah. This is an arrest notice for somebody in China who posted stuff to the foreign internet.
To the foreign internet.
Which is now being cracked down on even more.
It's called the foreign internet, yes.
Yeah, so, well, I mean, that's what I'm calling it. Sure. But, so it's outside of the Great Firewall, which... So before, what you'd get is like people that would do that to support the government or whatever. Those people are left alone. But if you do anything to go participate, you know how these people say, oh, VPNs are legal in China.
Yeah, nonsense.
Actually, you can do whatever you want on the internet in China. You just have to know how to get around the Great Firewall, but you won't get punished for it. Yeah. Bullshit. People get arrested all the time for this. Yes. And it's happening more and more these days. So if you go out there and you post a comment on Twitter or on Facebook or on YouTube and you say, yeah, we have a problem with freedom of speech here in China. Yeah. I don't support Xi Jinping. You get arrested.
Yeah, that's true. It's no good. You know, it's weird. Somebody in the comments there was asking why they're called 50 centers. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It comes from the rumor that there are actual paid parts of the Chinese government. It's like whole big centers set up where you've got people sitting in these big rooms, all on a computer, and their whole purpose is to change the narrative and to shape the narrative when it comes to China overseas. So if somebody posts, let's say, a news article or a YouTube video that's critical of the Chinese government, their job is to go there into the comments section and try to debunk that comment or debunk that content and basically point it towards China being good and whoever posted the thing being bad. So they either go and insult a bunch of people, they go put a lot of disinformation in the comments, they'll do whatever they have to do. And the rumor was that they get paid 50 Chinese cents per comment that they write. Of course, that's not really how it works. They get paid a proper salary and all of that. But, you know, that's why they're called the 50-cent army. Just to
yeah, thank you. Good. Cool. All right, move on to the next one.
Yeah, let's move on to our next slide, which is actually...
This is where we celebrate...
Lithuania. Okay, tell us who he is.
So this is a lawmaker in Lithuania. So if you guys don't know, Lithuania, small country in the Baltics. Very, very beautiful part of the world. I actually really gel with like Estonians, Lithuanians, that sort of area. They're fairly quiet, but like confident and reserved people. I think they're awesome. Yeah. Point being, they used to be a part of the Soviet Union. they do not take kindly to bullying and authoritarianism because they themselves stood up to the Soviet Union and really, really put a black eye in their face, to be honest. So that kind of spirit is still alive when the CCP is trying to bully Europe into their bidding, and they say absolutely not.
Yeah.
So what do? They're getting closer and closer to Taiwan. They've opened up offices in each other's countries.
And they keep getting threatened every single time. The CCP and the Wolf Warriors go out there like, you'll cross in a line, you will regret this.
The red line.
Yeah, all this kind of nonsense every time. Yeah.
So a lawmaker here went after Hu Xijin. Well, actually, I shouldn't say went after, just replied to him. Hu Xijin is a state media douchebag in China.
Hu Xijin is the editor of the Global Times.
Yeah.
Okay, Global Times is
English,
the English language Chinese state media. Basically, it's a newspaper.
Not for you.
It's kind of a tabloid newspaper, but everything that's written there and everything that's said coming out of the Global Times is sanctioned by the Chinese government. It is their mouthpiece. So what did he say?
So they're very angry at Lithuania getting involved with Taiwan. So he says, how much did you spend to invite these low-end European political actors? Poor Taiwan. Not sure if these people would buy some unsaleable pineapples of the island with the money paid by Tsai. We have to break this down.
Yes.
So China got super pissed off at Taiwan because they basically blocked the Taiwanese pineapples, right?
Yeah.
And Taiwan said, well, you can't block our pineapples. We'll just sell them to other countries.
Yeah.
And everyone around the world banded together and bought Taiwanese pineapples to support democracy and to support Taiwan. China got freaking pissed off.
And remember, they blocked the pineapples because they had stolen the pineapples and they were growing them in mainland China.
But they lied and said the ones coming from Taiwan didn't pass the health regulations.
Exactly. Bullshit. Some crap like that.
So anyway, everyone goes we love Taiwanese pineapple. Barbra Streisand effect blew up in their face. Everyone started to talk about Taiwan.
Yeah.
So this guy brings that back into this.
Yes.
He also completely degrades Lithuanian politicians by saying they're low end, right?
Yes, low end European political actors. So he got replied by this lawmaker from Lithuania. Says, she is sending his clowns to attack us. And he put a clown emoji. We should call China the People's Republic of Comedy.
I absolutely died. It made me want to move to Lithuania.
It's amazing. I mean,
why can't our politicians have the balls
exactly,
to
just
do
to
that?
head on, because if you look at the absolute absurdity, and here's where things are starting to even out a bit. When China, these wolf warriors, and when people like Hu Xijin, when they interact with the rest of the world, they use the most ridiculous language, the most undiplomatic language. It's insulting, it's childish, it's ridiculous, and they just throw it out all the time, and they never get it in return because the rest of the world is too bloody nice and diplomatic to behave in such a childish, disgusting
They act
manner.
like little babies.
They do, all the
Bully
time.
babies.
All the time. And
Imagine if a baby was huge.
Yes.
Like, in Spirited Away.
Yes.
It's that.
Yeah. Bully baby.
Yeah.
So anyway, the fact that he can just go out and call them like the People's Republic of Comedy and of clowns is great, because it's now you're on the same playing field.
Go to the next slide.
And the next slide's even better.
Oh my gosh, he's in the government office here in Taiwan.
And he's like,
the editor of Global Times News, that's the Chinese state mouthpiece, says Lithuanians don't want Taiwan's pineapples. Fake news. I'm Lithuanian. I'm in Taiwan, and I want a pineapple.
I know. He posts a picture of him holding a Taiwanese pineapple. It's ridiculously good.
This guy is the man. I want to have this guy in the show.
Yeah, I know. Isn't this great?
Oh,
I mean,
so good.
This is just the best thing ever, because that's calling them out and at the same time just disproving their absolute crap.
Yes.
So sick and tired of this loudmouth bully going on and on and on all the time. It's about time people stand up to China and the Chinese government.
People's Republic of Comedy.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. But this is what the world needs to do. It shouldn't just be little countries like Lithuania, which in my mind is now the biggest country in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. What we need is the whole of the European Union. We need the whole of the free world to stand up to China's bullying, because that's the thing. If China would behave, and when I say China, of course I'm talking about the CCP and all of its representatives. If they would behave maturely and diplomatically and properly without all their bullshit and blustering and all their threats and their insults and all the other stuff that they throw out, the rest of the world would treat them well.
Yeah.
But it's about time that we stood up to them.
When you act like a little bitch, expect to get treated like one.
They need a bloody nose.
Yeah.
It's reached that time, that time when that bully has just gone over the line.
Yes.
It's
And
ridiculous.
it's so shameful to me that the Chinese people have to. This is the representation of them.
Yeah.
And that's so unfair. My friends in China are getting represented by Hu Xijin and Hua Chunying and Zhao Lijian.
These pieces of
They don't
shit.
act like that.
No.
They don't agree with that.
No.
But they have to get represented like that, and that's what's unfortunate.
And they're also represented by the worst group of disgusting foreigners that you could ever find.
Not to mention the foreigners that get
Yeah.
all the press. And we're talking about the Westerners in China.
It's
that
like
get
the
paid by
dregs, the absolute bottom of the kind of people
fantasy
that,
land people.
The kind of people you would not want around your children. Okay,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway, ridiculous.
That's another story for another time.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, I feel that makes me feel wicked bad for Chinese people is
Yeah.
the representation they have.
Yes, and they're not allowed to have their own voice. They have to be represented by these absolute clowns.
I remember you left my spirit.
Dude, does that look comfortable to you?
In fact, this is the most dystopian nightmare of non-reality that you can't do.
Yeah.
I think it's mushrooms mixed
Which
with
doesn't make it better.
Slices of grapefruit. We have the lamest YouTube names
We do.
ever. He is not the victim.
But he's a flowery public thing. I mean, she had a lot of space to go take a dump in the back there. We've got nice questions. Okay, pleasant questions. In the black bag, we've got nasty questions.
How would you explain your kinkiest impulse to your grandma without her disowning you if she were alive?
Wow.